Hey guys, how you doing? This is Bobby
Hey,
Davis. I'm here with Kevin. Kevin's on the screen.
I'm
Hey
here
Kevin.
too. I don't know what happened there. I wasn't supposed to be here.
All right. That's it. You're
That was
here.
weird. I don't know. That was
Holiday
strange.
week.
That's actually never
You're a
happened with this
co-founder.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
strange.
you
But
weren't
oh well,
removed.
there you go.
Well,
Maybe. But hey, everybody. Look, I said we're going to be a couple minutes late, and look, Griffin goes like as per usual. Are we setting a bad example here? Is this?
we must be.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we
Maverick,
must be.
Maverick wants our coding about. Kevin wants our coding challenge announcement.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
We're getting to it, man. We'll get to it.
it won't be today.
It's not gonna be today. It'll be next week. We're just trying to line up a sponsor. So if we can't, we'll announce it. So.
Yep. Yeah, if we don't get a sponsor this week, we'll just announce it anyway, and we'll give you guys a Code of Foundry T-shirt or something as the winner.
Maybe something cooler on a T-shirt.
That's funny. They're busy changing out the posters in the background.
That would be cool.
We only do that on our pre-production stuff, which one day we'll actually show you in there in our actual Bobby's other office there, because we'll show you how we did those boxes. Those posters that we change out are custom boxes with lights in them. They're kind of cool. We'll do a studio tour one day.
Yeah.
And don't worry, David, we were late too.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we were late. So I don't know if this is true, Maitu, but thumbs ups get more people. I don't know. Is this a thing? I don't know. We don't know enough about YouTube Live, but maybe. Hey, if you guys go give us a thumbs up, maybe it'll push more people in here. That'd be nice.
Double thumbs.
I always take thumbs up. That'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll take the double thumbs up.
Look at this.
Don't be late, Thomas.
Hey, here's the deal, right? We're not in there. Jason is.
Not every day. I'm in there some days.
And it's yeah, we're just not. We won't be in your classroom, but Jason will be. Jason and Drew will definitely be, and Antonio, and those will keep you on time. Don't worry. Just because we're late, I mean you can be.
So don't do as I do.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that's it. That is it. So Glenn starts next week. That's awesome. Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm going to send you something later again too. And actually, anybody that's coming to the cohort next time, I'm going to send you an email later and a invite to the team. So the cohort team I set up this morning. So you get that invite later. So that's going to be cool. So for those of you that are joining us, July 6th, you get some extra details later today.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool.
All right, so what do we got on memes today?
We got a new person here. Oh, I love the little logo down there too. Energy Rage. See for the first time a little more JavaScript live. What are you talking here about? What are we talking about?
A little more JavaScript.
A little more JavaScript. So we've done this for the last 2 days, Energy Rage. Thanks for joining us.
Simple.
Thanks for joining us. We've done this for the last 2 days. We did this Thursday and Friday last week. Just doing some basic JavaScript stuff. We didn't get to everything on Friday, so we thought we'd extend it out to today. So we're talking about loops today.
Loops and a little bit more DOM manipulation.
Okay.
So maybe some conditionals in there too. Some if-then statements. We may get there.
Okay. I like that stuff. I like the logic part of coding. I think that's to me, that's like the interesting part. I like the solving of the problem part.
Yeah. I went light on the UI just because I don't want the CSS to take over what I'm doing. Because it can.
Okay, but I did see it briefly. You did put a background on it, so
I did put a background on it. So,
so we do have that. So it's not just plain.
Yeah, kind of.
So that's cool.
It's kind of ugly,
so that's cool.
But we'll work on it.
Okay, but hey, it works.
Yeah.
It's not the point.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make this look beautiful. We're trying to make it just work for the purpose of teaching something.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, we should be able to go through it real quick here in JavaScript.
Okay, cool. You want to just start there?
No, let's do memes first. I want to do a meme. You showed me a meme today, so I thought it was pretty funny.
Let's do memes. Oh, let me see. I don't think I have that one still up. Hold on. I'm going to find it. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't. That wasn't in our meme channel, actually. I thought it was in a different place, but I thought it was funny. Here we go. Hold on. Let me just go find it. It was good.
Yeah.
It's very, very topical for today. in these general times. Here we go. I got it right here. I say I got it. I found it. You know, you find you like you search for Google image search, and then it takes you to the whole page, and the page has got like 200 images on it. Like it's just one of those. That's like such an annoying
finished
thing.
my book in about a half a day. It's a motivational one. Thank you for giving the roadmap and explanation. You're welcome. Thanks for buying it. So that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Did anybody else read the book over the weekend?
Yeah, just get breaking the code. A lot of people got it. A lot of people hit me up on Twitter.
I took mine downstairs. I was actually reading it over the weekend. I've read it. I read it through. This is probably my third time through. Actually, I read it through pre-production. I read it through when the actual release came out, the ebook part, and then I started reading the paperback because I got it over the weekend. Mine came Friday.
So. That's what people think. It's a coding book. It's really not. It's a motivational business book. It does give you some really good, I think, good advice on how to give you the roadmap and how to explain it, why we do what we do. But learning to code is a step before the book. You got to learn to code first, and then you can utilize the book to kind of get going, get a job.
Yep.
That's what we want people to do, is get a job.
Exactly. That is the point. There you go. Adam said he read it over the weekend too.
Yeah. It counts. Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah, hope definitely. And Doug's reading it too. So that's cool. There'll be a test, Doug, day 1 on the book.
It's on page 92.
I think the Spider-Man drawing is 93, right? 92?
93.
I don't know. 93.
Spider-Man drawing is on there. So
I
I'm
think
sure that'll get out.
Okay, let's do a meme here real quick. Okay, so
that's my explosion. That's my explosion.
Love the explosion. I like it. So I saw this. Actually, saw this on I think Facebook, because somebody shared it on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." It's very topical for the time. So here we go. Yeah. I do like.
So you don't know anything about that. We're closing down states again here in the U.S. So
yeah.
It's like
a lot of. We're not good at following orders here apparently. So,
well, I don't. Yeah, probably not. Or it's just bad, worse than we thought. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, it's bad, but we're also not good at being told what to do. It's the American way.
It's the American way.
It is. Tell somebody what to do. They're like, I will do the total opposite. Yeah, like it's. Yeah. But there you go. So that's that. I thought I'd share that one. A very very something very topical. Esteban has a hardcover version of the book too. That's great.
Nice.
I didn't order that yet.
Yeah.
We have some coming in, so I'm going to wait for one to come in.
Yet. I just got my author copies this morning. So.
Oh, did we? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And yes, Tech Rally, this is true. We're on. You know, if we visit, I think Connecticut, New York, and Maine, maybe, or some other state up there, we have to 14-day quarantine out of North Carolina. Hey, here's what I'm going to say. We're not as bad as Florida. And look, here's Beth. Look, and she's going to confirm it's completely ludicrous here in Florida. So there you go. Not as bad as Florida. Florida had 18,000 new cases yesterday. 18,000. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. The whole state's going to get it. So Beth, just stay inside. that's best advice.
I wore a mask over the weekend. So
yeah, I've been wearing a mask for a while. We bought a bunch from online, and I've been wearing them for a while. And it is so in North Carolina, it is state law now. So when you go out and you can't social distance, you're supposed to wear one. I saw very few people. We had to go to where did we go? I went to Lowe's over the weekend, so I had to go, and I saw very few people not wearing them. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a simple thing to do. If you can help somebody, that's what I'm about. Just wear the mask. It's easy.
Someone said they won't let you in the store without your shirt on, so why can't you put your mask on?
That's true.
There's signs in every store in North Carolina, like we need to be told, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever noticed that on the door.
Yeah. So, definitely. So you're right. Just add mask to it, and away we go. And it's easy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep. I think that's one of the most focused on that. Yeah, that's true. I'm with you. Like it's looking not best here. So
I think we're gonna be wearing masks for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So we're talking about getting some Coda Foundry masks. That'd be cool. Or we talked about this before on one of the shows, having like Star Wars masks would be cool.
It'd be kind of cool. I'd like a Mandalorian mask, like a helmet.
Yeah, like a full-on helmet.
It's
Maybe that'll
go there,
be
man.
the thing.
If you have to wear them much longer, they're gonna make them stylish in the perfect American way, and then they're gonna be part of your outfits. You know, you have matching masks, and Nike will make them. And Gucci will make them.
I saw somebody on TV this morning. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on the news, and they were wearing like a blue jacket, and they had a blue mask to match it too. A lady, I remember that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like matching your outfits now. So
and then they'll make them like I don't know what they'll do. They'll get more technical and better.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Manish has a question, and we don't know. We're not 100% sure on the distribution about the book in terms of which copies go where and how the publisher distributes them. I know some people said they can't get any versions in their country. So we're asking them about that. So we'll find out. We're just not sure.
Yeah, it's when they do it. I'm not sure. I'll ask today. We have a call with them today. So I'll find out.
So we'll figure that out. We need to figure out because some other European countries couldn't get it either. So
Switzerland must wear masks in public, but will you get a trespassing ticket if you don't? That's what they're doing here. They you're trespassing. You get a ticket for trespassing.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if a store asks you to put your mask on and you don't, and they ask you to leave and you don't, you get arrested for trespassing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because they have the right to tell you not to. Okay, and then you don't leave, and that's the trespassing part. Okay.
Some guy got arrested at the market the other day, at the in Kernersville.
Here? Yeah. Really?
He wouldn't leave.
Well, hey, if you're gonna make it law, you have to enforce it. So
and then the sheriff
somebody has to be the example.
No, the crazy thing was the sheriff had to arrest him. Then there was a fight. Then there was a hearing into use of force and all that kind of stuff. So you look it up. It's on.
Okay.
It's at the. Wow. It's like, dude, just leave, man.
Oh, this was the thing at Winston.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Okay. Yeah. Crazy.
Right. Anyway, enough about our stuff.
Okay. enough about the state of the world at the moment because it's a mess.
Does anyone see fake mass exemption ID cards?
I saw this. Yep, I saw this.
What is that
about this? Some dudes have printed up these cards that are like, "Hey, I have a medical condition, so I don't have to wear a mask," and they're just fake. They just printed a card just to say, "Hey, I don't want to wear one, so I'm going to have this silly little card and I'm going to carry it around and say that I don't have to legally." Like, that's not going to work.
So, like, I mean, I guess if you have a breathing condition, it can be problematic for you. But I don't know. I don't have one, so I'm not really into that. So,
right. But I guess there is some certain exemptions for some people, but it is more of a rarity than a common thing. You should see 99+% people wearing them. So, Rafinko, where are you in the world? I'm interested. No masks needed here, just in stores.
Yeah.
If you can socially distance here, by the way, you don't have to wear a mask. So same kind of thing here, really. Not kind of the military will let you out of that. Whoa. Okay.
If you walk with your dog here, you can do that without a mask. You can go.
Yeah, as long as you're not walking near other people.
Yeah. So I was at the park doing my workout, and I didn't wear a mask.
Yep.
But it was me and like 4 other people at the park. So,
yeah. Well, they've said as long as you can social distance outside, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you're in a place like, let's say that you go to a shopping mall, and that's an outdoor mall where there's lots of people, you're supposed to wear the mask.
Yeah.
It's common sense, really. It's like, it's so. He's in Slovakia. Okay. So.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. Same in Romania, look too. Masks just in stores.
Okay, that's cool. Our global audience, we have a pulse on the world here. We can find out what's
going on.
We do.
We know what's going on everywhere. I love it.
We know what's going on.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some JavaScript then.
Hopefully this we can fill up the rest of the time. If not, we'll leave early today, Kevin, and eat lunch early.
Okay. We do have lots to do. By the way, we do have a cohort coming in next week.
We do. We have
and I have a ton of setup still to do.
Yeah, we have
for you guys. Yeah, so I have a lot of documents to fix.
So if you were here Friday, go back and watch Friday if you weren't here. We made a really stupidly simple site. Today, I'm kind of using the same project, but I changed it a little bit this morning to make it what I want to do. And so, like, as you guys know, I play Destiny. This is a Destiny background from the game Forsaken. And one of the things you do inside of Destiny is you have to go find raid teams, which is you need 6 people. And a lot of times they have to have a certain level to play certain things. So stupidly simple. I mocked this up to where we could add some people to my raid team here. So you'd have to input your gamer tag. So I almost put my real gamer tag in there, but we'll do that. So then we're going to work on the UI a little bit because I didn't really spend a whole lot of time on this. So I basically added. I could put a little result here. I didn't want us confuse this with the UI too much. I just want to talk about what I had to do this. So now I can run this and it puts it out in a loop. And so what's going on here is I'm adding to an object. So we're going to talk about objects, and I'm adding an object is an array of objects. And then I'm running the report, which means I'm looping over that object and printing it out. Just to show you 2 things that's going on here.
Okay. Is there an actual, just to high level before we get into this though, is there an actual app that does this too, to looking for a real, like,
the Destiny app.
Okay.
Yeah, the Destiny app.
Oh, the Destiny app itself does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You can create fire teams, ask people, and then bring them in. And then you also have a bunch of LFG sites looking for group. So like things like that. And mostly the Destiny app's taken over those, but there is a Destiny LFG app. So
interesting.
that's kind of how that's going to work. So let me push this down a little bit, and let me just kill all this stuff here. Let's get all this stuff cleared off here. All right,
hey, it's Super Dog.
Super Dog. All right. So we'll put that on the side here, and we're going to pull this. We'll be pulling this back and forth. So let me move VS Code over here. So like what I did was I haven't written anything yet, but I've got the UI here. And basically I have a button and another button. I have 2 buttons. Okay, this is a bad UI design, but I wanted to show you kind of like how this would kind of work. And then we've got this P tag here, and we're going to put content in the pack. Now, remember, if we talked about on Friday, the way you manipulate the DOM or way to communicate with the DOM is like you put IDs on all of your controls. So my first button has an input name. That's what I called it. And this other one's called input light. And for Destiny, light is equal to your level or something like that. And so you have to be a certain level to play the activities. All right. So when I click this button, I want to call this function called add team. Okay. So let's code that first and see if we can add a team member to it. Okay. So if you remember, JavaScript, you can write things called functions. And this is the same file that I was using Friday. And so basically a function is this kind of like thing that you can call, and it's a group of commands that you can put together inside of JavaScript. Right?
So Thomas has a question before we jump in. Yeah. He says, is it better to use IDs or classes?
You can use them both. ID is a specific thing. A class would mean that you could access a group of things.
So it depends on the scenario.
And then if you want to like highlight something or change something all with this particular class, you could hit it to a class. So you can do it by tag name, by a lot of different ways. You can select things out in JavaScript. But typically an ID is like one singular thing.
Okay. And John B has a question too. Query selector versus get element by ID.
Yeah, I can look at that later. But like query selectors allows you to select one to many things, and they can get quite sophisticated in the types of things you can get. Get element by ID will give you return a singular control. And that's why I used it for this, because I'm returning an input box and a P tag.
And that's what we're doing today, right? We're using the get element by ID.
Today. But I can, if you guys want me to like look in query selectors, those are actually pretty powerful, and then you can do a lot of different things in it. So like, it's kind of neat what you can do. Like for example, if you had a group of LIs underneath an unordered list, and you could like query select just the LIs under there, and it would return those back in an array. Then you could loop over them and do something with them. You know,
okay, so query select, you can select multiple elements, whether by ID or by tag.
By tag, by data dash value, by class, by whatever, by element type.
Okay.
You know, like LI.
Okay.
And then you can also tell it where to start the search at. So like I can search just starting with this UL element and not the whole page. So there's a lot of things you can do with it.
Okay, interesting.
Right. So look for that. So like what I did is here, I declared a constant team. Okay, and this is up the top. This is going to be global because I'm going to use it in a couple of places in this in two functions. So I declared it up here as global. These brackets here declare this as an object. So an object is different than an array. An array has a singular value in it, and an object has a key value pair. So it can have like a name and a value. Okay. So what I want to add in here is light and like the name of the team member and the light level. So that's why I'm using an object. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So what I need is I need an array. So the next thing I'm going to do is declare an array, and this is going to be called member or team member. It's just empty right now. Okay. And here's what's cool about objects when you get in here is now I can just define properties that I want to put on this. So the first one I want, and I just made these up, I can do whatever I want here. And that's the beauty and the pain of JavaScript. Okay. So this isn't like tightly bound to a class or something like that would be in C#. I'm just making this up as I go. Okay. So I can grab document.getElement by ID. And if you remember, the first one was called input name. And I can say dot value. And so this gets the value out of that input box. And
when you say value, what if you didn't have dot value? What would that do?
It would return the actual element, the HTML element.
Oh, okay.
It would return the input element, which is okay. You can get a handle to the element, and then you can modify it too. That's another thing that you can do. All right.
Okay.
But I wanted what was in the value of this particular element.
Okay.
You know. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go member, and I'm just going to make this one up too. I'm just going to call it light. It could be level. Just remember, light is level in Destiny. So I don't know why I made this Destiny theme. It's because I was playing Destiny last night.
I think you're on a Destiny kick.
Yeah. And I'm going to get the value out of this again. So what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing stuff from the UI or from my HTML.
There's a typo page in that line, by the way, a document.
It is. It's still blue. It didn't show me. Come on, man. Come on. All right. Thank you. So then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take team, which is this variable up here. Okay. And I can push an array into it. Right. But what I'm going to do is push this member array in here. And that'll add that to the object. Pretty simple, right?
So just like, so you push to an object just like you push to an array. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, except we're pushing two values at once. And just to show that it worked, I think we can do something like this. Team member, let me put this in here. Team member added, just so we get a little notification a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and clear out the form itself. Okay. So this is why you would do this. Let me show you this. So we'll take this up here. And let me make sure this is declared as an equal here. We're equaling it to an empty array. So
by the way, Adam says, trust me, no one is questioning why you made it Destiny themed.
Yeah. So I'm going to call it input name equals, and I'm going to go ahead and get the element like you were saying before. I'm just going to get the element.
Okay.
Get element ID. And I'm going to show you what I can do here. Okay, and then I'm not getting the value in this one, and I'm going to copy this one. This is why you would sometimes not just get it by the value, and I'm going to say input light. And I'm going to change this one to input light. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this. Take this out. I'm going to say input name. Okay. Now it knows it's an input box. And so it took value off of it. Does that make sense, Kevin?
Okay. Yep.
So now I have these. Now I have a handle to the actual input box, and now I'm just grabbing the value to get the value out of it. And so what I want to do is say input name value equals, and I'm going to go ahead and empty it. I'm going to clear it out.
Okay.
And we'll run this and we'll see what happens here. Hopefully it works. Okay, so what I should be able to do is I'm just going to run it. I don't know if it's a work or not, but okay. It should work. I'm going to say I'm light level 1058 right now. I need to get 2 more. Okay, so it says team member added. Okay, that's kind of cool, right?
Okay.
And then it cleared it out. And then I'm going to say, Kevin, and you're at 1,000, Kevin. You got work to do. You actually got to buy an Xbox.
I'm actually 1060. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're 1060? Okay. He's 1060. He's ready to go. All right. So that's kind of cool. So we added R to our array, but nothing really happened. We need to focus on this run report so we can see the results of our array. Okay. And so that's our next little bit that we got to do. And then
so now that we've added information into it, now we're going to pull it out using the loop part, right?
Yeah, using the loop
to display it.
And I think so so objects are cool. I use objects a lot. If you looked at SuperDog events, you can go look at that tutorial we put together and the stuff on GitHub. It goes into a lot into objects. But objects are like something that you will use a lot in JavaScript, especially if you need a key value pair or more than one property inside of an object. So, so what I'm going to do now.
How big can an object be? Like, big. So why would you have a giant object versus having it in a database? What's the trade-off?
So sometimes you're pulling like weather data from like Dark Sky, and you get this giant object back. That has all the weather data.
So you wouldn't. Okay, so you wouldn't push that then into
you could
into a database.
Yeah, you could, but you'll be getting it as the intermediate storage component would be object. So then you could like turn that and then shove it into a database if you wanted to.
Okay.
So even if you had values in a database, it's going to come back typically in JSON, which are objects. And so no matter what you do.
Even ultimately, if it's stored in a database, you're still manipulating it and pulling it back to read it as an object.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. So that's super important then.
Super important. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to display my team. Okay. And so we know that this is global here because I declared it up here. And therefore, I can access it from this variable here or from this function here because it's scoped globally. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a simple empty string. And if I was doing this and I was really kind of focusing in on the UI part of this, I would do this with tables and I would do a whole templating thing. But so that we're not confused on that, I'm just going to write this out as a string and put a BR in it and run them down the page. So very simple and basic UI, because like the UI part of this can get more complicated and it can distract from what we're trying to learn, which is about loops.
Yeah.
All right. So the classic loop is a for loop. And so the for loop has 3 parameters. And the first one is the index. And that's why we call it I, because that's the index. And as you know, typically when we're looping over things. We're typically looping over an object or an array. And arrays, the index start at 0. So if you have 10 items in an array, the first position of that will be index 0. The last position will be index 9. So each item has a number associated with it so that you can access it by number. All right.
So the fact that you used I there, am I correct in saying you could put anything there?
Yeah, I can put.
You could literally call that anything. You could actually write out index, right? It doesn't. The I is just a common.
If it's some Destiny is my jam.
That's funny.
But yeah, you
I is just a common. As just a common way to do it, right?
That's for index. That's why we do it. It says I is index. But if you're not going over an index and you're going over items, you could do something like this, item. You can do whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you. Typically, it's I for loops. And then, so the first thing is, where do I start? The second one is, what is my condition to stop? So the first one is, I'm going to start at 0, and then I want to go until a condition to be stopped. So this is less than. There's also greater than. There's also equals, which would compare the two. Okay, so those are the operators, and you can look up JavaScript operators on the MDN site. So if you need to do that, so I'm going to say the team array, and I'm just going to do length. All right, and length is how many items are in it. So less than that, and then I'm going to go I plus plus. And if I could get used to the Apple, but so I'm going to add 1 to I every time it comes around. So the first time it comes around, it'll be 0. And then I'll say is I less than the team.length, and it's going to be no, and it's going to loop through this stuff and display our results. Okay.
So what are things to look out for here with like, what do you call it when it never stops, like an endless loop?
An endless loop. Yeah, you got to give it a condition to look into.
So if you didn't give it a condition, what does it just fail? It just breaks.
For loop without one. You couldn't define it without one.
Oh, okay.
But typically, there's other things called like while loops, and I'm going to do this with both kind of loops.
Okay.
While loops are very beneficial, but you got to make sure that your condition can be met, or it'll just loop indefinitely. This will stop because there is a definitive length here. All right. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, I think we're good. Infinite loops, that's what it's called. That's what John said. Yeah. Infinite loops. That's what that's the word I was looking for.
All right. So I've got a roster string here. And so what I want to do is add to it every time I loop. And so I'm just going to say plus equals. And then I'm going to do my template literals. And we talked about this a little bit on Friday. If you're concatenating strings, you're always using template literals. You just always do. It makes things easier to read and better for you, so you don't have as many bugs with like pluses and trying to like figure out the different quotes and all kind of stuff. So it's just better, but it also accepts variables inside this string. The template literal is defined with the tick tag, which is in the tilde key on the US keyboard. I'm not sure where it's at in other keyboards, but it's like a tilde or the tick key, and usually on the tilde key. So it's not a single quote. Okay, it is a backtick. Different things. All right. And then you can say $ and then bracket, and then you can start putting variables in here. So team, and this is how you index team dash or team index at I. And guess what? Now I can get the name of this object. Now that'll display my name, because now I can access it via properties. Okay, kind of cool.
Okay, yep.
Then I just want to put the light level on it. So I can say another variable here, which is bracket. And then I'll do the same thing at the same position. I dot, and this time I'm going to use the light property I defined up there. So that's it. And then inside this bracket, I'm going to put a BR in here. And
that's so when it loops around, it puts the next one on the next line, right?
It'll just put a line in there. It's just an HTML trick.
There's not some, like I said, there's not something you'd normally do, but
I normally wouldn't do this. I would normally roll these out in a table and then add another TRTD thing like that. So that way I could have headers and footers and I could add stuff. So there's a lot of things I would do when I'm displaying data, but like that's what I would do. Pretty simple.
Here's what Nathaniel says too. It says dot length is used when you don't know the length of the array or object. So I guess that makes when you have like team dot length, if you put in I less than 40, but you don't know that the object has 40 things in it. I guess that makes sense.
I'm using length because I can add 1 to n or 1 to many team members. So I don't,
because you don't know how many are in it.
Is going to be in it. So I want it to work regardless of how many are in it. So that's why I'm using something like something that it can discover at runtime or interrogate at runtime and just declare the length object. And then by that time it's set and it knows how many are in it. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
So then I've got this right here. So this is important to my logic. So like these brackets are the scope of this for loop. So it's going to run through this over and over again until this condition is met. And it's going to add a string every time. All right. After that's done, which is outside of these brackets, I want to write some more code which would display it. So I'm going to say get element by ID and have a p tag in there, just a paragraph tag called results. And I'm going to set its inner HTML, which is important that I'm using this because I did use an HTML tag here. You can set inner text, but I used inner HTML because I'm actually using HTML. Okay. Equals roster. And I think that will do it.
I have one question about the loop. If you just talk over so I get the index of the loop starting at 0, but then the I less than team dot length part. Why is it less than and not equal to?
So, because the length is 10.
Okay.
But the last.
Oh, but the index is 9. Okay, I got you. Okay, right. Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
And in this case, it's 2. So you've got an index of 0 and 1.
Right, with a length of 2.
Okay, that makes sense. Because it does seem like counter logical that it's like, well, of course I want it to go all the way to the end, so it should be equal to the team dot length.
Yeah. So that's
okay.
Good. So all right. So let me pull this over here. All right. So now here's our Destiny Raid Team app. I think this can win 5 stars in the App Store. I think it's ready.
I don't know if you can sell it. You might have to give this away. This might be a freebie.
This is worth $15.
Hey, if one person buys it, there you go.
So we're gonna.
I'm not sure you're gonna convince one person.
Our light levels in here, 1060, because I've been playing while I was coding, so I got up 2 levels.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I want to be left.
I started a new character, so I'm back to 1,000.
You're back to 1,000 on your Titan. All right, so like that's kind of cool. All right, and so who wants to be in here? Let's pick a user's name in here so we can.
Last comment in here was Rafinko. RAFFYNKO.
RAFFYNKO.
That's it.
So Rafinko.
It's got to be a 1060, right?
He's a 1080, man. I think he's like.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he went that high.
Yeah, he's been grinding. So we can run the report, and you can see now that we have our 3 results in there.
Okay. So basically looped over those objects and just pushed each one out to the screen, just using those basically 3 lines of code.
Yeah. And if I'm really good at this, actually debug this, I believe, and just watch it, do it.
Oh, okay. Cool. Let's do that.
Yeah. So, and we can do it in both of them here. So I'm going to do it in the add team function, and then I'm going to do it in the display team function.
So did you just add breakpoints then? Is that what you did?
Yes, I just clicked on it, and that means the code will stop executing at these 2 points when it hits them.
That lets us take a quick look at what's going on.
Yeah. And let's see here. Hopefully let me kill it. Kind of cool. So now we have these breakpoints, and this would be cool. This will work. I think we'll be able to see it pretty easily here. Let me get my let me get it back up here. All right, so we may not be able, it may click off. So let me just do it this way. And we'll use the full monitor here. Okay. All right, so we've got a breakpoint right here. So let's add a team member, and you can see what this looks like. A lot of times when you see something inside the code and you see the values, it makes sense. So like I clicked add, and you can see it stopped here, and now you can see there's a lot of variables up here. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'm looking at my team array right here. I've already had that added from a previous run, but I also can I can add a different watch variable here. And so if people know me, cool, and I ask you to debug, all right, you come and ask me inside the class and you say, hey, how do I do this? And I'll always ask, did you try to debug it? And they say, no, I just want you to fix it. And like, so I'll run them this debugging, because I think that's really important. A lot of people don't underestimate how powerful this is. So watch this. I can step over. If you can see that, that means step over. Also can continue, which just means it'll just keep on running. So, but I'm going to step over, and you can see when I
step over just means go to the next line, right? Or go to the next whatever logical command is.
Yeah. So if I go down here and input name, you can see that's going to have a value down there. And you see all the properties of the input box. And this is how you can learn about objects too, to see kind of what kind of methods and properties it has. So it's kind of neat. So this is the whole box in here. So I had to get down to V here.
Wow, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot to it. So let me just change this, because that's too much stuff to figure out. Let me just get rid of it.
Is that because there's a lot of other properties just inherent there then? They just exist?
So what I can do is I'm just going to say input name dot value, because that's really what I want to investigate here.
Okay.
And you see now that it has Bobby in there.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So you can be very specific even on what you're watching too then. Oh, that's cool. You don't have to watch the whole object.
Yeah. And so these evaluate expressions inside of the debugger. So you can see now that input light is not available yet, but watch when I step over, it is now. So now it has that 980 value.
That's because it ran line number 20 there, right? That's So it did that, and then now it's under 22. So now it's assigned the value. Now you can see it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to add this array here, and it's an omni object here. Check this out. Watch what happens here. So I'm going to step over, and now I have the name Bobby. See that right there? It's maybe a little bit hard to see. And then as I add it again, well, it popped out. So hit alert, but it's basically added them both in. So hit this alert.
Okay.
It's just kind of neat. So now I pushed the team member into here, and now we're good. I think I hit continue, not step over, is what happened there. So I can add it. So just watch it one more time. We'll watch it faster this time.
Yeah.
And 60. And so you can see here, I'm going to hit add, and it's going to stop again. And I can step over. Boom, 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 boom. All right. And so now
it did it that
I got Kevin in the light. And if you look at this, it shows you kind of like see the name is in here. So the name colon Kevin light colon. So that's how you can access these by names or by properties.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. And then I'm just going to step over that, and it's saying alert. It goes away. And then I'm going to reset the values of the box, and you can solve them if you're watching close. We're going away. Then I'll hit continue, and now we're right back. So we'll just say ref, and he's a 1080, and we're going to add it. And you can see here, I'm just going to hit continue because we've seen that a couple of times now. So now we can, I can hit run report.
Okay.
And so we'll scroll up a little bit. This is a pretty small little function, so it's pretty easy. And so now what we can do is look
so this should go through this 3 times, right? We have 3 people in our object.
Yeah, so I'm going to clear this out. And I'm going to add, and I got the team object already in here. So check it out. So object at 0, you can see it has name Bobby Light 980. Object at index 1 is Kevin Light 1060. And object or index 2 is Raf and Light. And this is what you're asking about. There's the length is going to return 3, but its final index is 2. So I is starting at 0, and it's going to get added to. And if I waited till it got to 3, it would throw an error. It'd say unbound because it was out of bounds array. So it wouldn't know. It'd say there's nothing here at position 3 or index 3. So watch what happens. And this is really good if you can just like look through loops. I hit continue. Sorry. Let me do that again. It'll add it twice to the page, but like
it's okay.
Again. All right. So I'm going to step over. And so the first time it's going to evaluate this, and then it goes in. So it set it to 0, and then it went here. That's why I had to click it twice. And so the length, you see here, length is 3. All right.
Oh, that's cool. You can highlight over that and see that too.
Yeah, you can highlight over it. You also can highlight over here and see also, and you don't have to necessarily put it in a watch.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I like it in a watch because I like looking over here at it a lot. That's just my personal preference. And so that's kind of cool. Okay. So I'm going to step over, and now we can also look at roster, and we can see what it looks like. So also
so it's already
it's
already added you to that.
Yeah. So I think I can add it to watch from here too. So I can also right click on it, add it to watch. So now we can see what it's going to write out. So it's just kind of cool.
So the first loop through, it worked. It took the index 0 values, which was you and your light level, and added those to that variable.
Yeah. So it checks length again, and then it says, okay, length is, and so I right now is 1. So our current value of I is 1. And so it's going to go to the index of 1. It should pull back Kevin and 1060. And that's what it did. So now we have a BR and Kevin 1060 with a BR. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're going to evaluate it again. And if you can see here, I is now 2.
That's 2.
Okay. And it's going to get this last one. So it's going to step over. And now, before I do this, it's going to like add to this. So now it's going to add plus plus. Watch what happens. I'm going to click it once. And then it pops out.
Oh, you hit continue, not
yeah, I know.
Step over.
But it popped out. And so it just, and that's it. And it run this out. All right. So that's it. So you got any questions? We got
here you go. Coding after 37. When I got my first job, one of my coworkers was like, just step through the code. I was like, what? Debugging something that most tutorials don't teach you. It's true. I think that is true. They don't. I think it's because it's often tool specific, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's a feature of the tool, not necessarily of the language or coding or programming, or it's just it's a tool feature. And I think you're right. You don't see that very often talked about.
Yeah, and so with VS Code and Visual Studio, I think being the best tooling out there is why you can be so productive in it. There's other tools out there and that have debuggers, obviously. But like for front-end development, VS Code is probably getting to be where it's almost the standard now, where everyone's using VS Code for front-end development. And Visual Studio, if you're using C# or ASP.NET, it's really, really powerful and really, really good, in my opinion. So, but there's other tools out there, but you have to use the tooling that comes with the stack that you're picking. So like, React and those guys have their own recommended things that they use.
So is the debugging in Visual Studio similar to VS Code then? Is it the same?
It's exactly the same, pretty much.
The same? Okay.
It looks a little different, but you basically hit the run button and it'll run and compile it. The cool thing about Visual Studio is the web server is built in. So like you don't even have to like mess with the web server to run it in place for you. And you can step through your server side code. So it works really well on everything. You can step through SQL, you can step through stored procedures. There's a lot of things you can do with Visual Studio. Now you can build up VS Code to kind of do all these things, but typically for
using
SP
plugins or
C#, Visual Studio's superior product to VS Code in that regard, as far as it being a true IDE. This is more like a code editor that can do fancy things. So what I'm doing is I've added live server to this, so it runs in live server, and then I've added debugging support for Chrome. It also has debugging.
Oh, okay. So that was a plugin you actually had to add then to this?
Yes. Yeah. So this is
okay. I did not know that.
Done through a configuration file.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And so I had to tell it.
Not a feature from VS Code out of the box.
Yeah. And I had to tell it, I had to set it up and tell it where the website is, things like that. So.
Okay.
But you do need some kind of server to do it. And that's where live server comes in. So that's
look, Hashim's here. Hey, Hashim.
Hey, Hashim. What's up?
We have to have you come on at some point, talk about some stuff too. He said VS Code also has a sweet debugger for Node.js too. So there you go.
Yeah, it does. Like if you put in here, you can add Node.js and you can add your own configurations. And so like you can make it do a lot of different things. So like there's a lot that you can do with VS Code. With Visual Studio, it's kind of out of the box and built up to debug C#. So you don't have to do any kind of configuration. You just hit the run button. So that's the difference. One's an IDE called an integrated development environment, and one's a code editor that has support for debugging. So, but everything's built in Visual Studio.
This is good advice from Nathaniel. Really run well in how it works. Use debugger on everything. Might blow your mind. At the very least, you will know how things get called and added when you call the stack. Well, the stack call. That's interesting.
What order things are run in. You can step through your code. And so when you're having a problem trying to fix something, you need to step through that code like the other guy was saying. And if you haven't done it before, this is a simple way to do it. But hopefully that makes sense, to a lot of people here. Hopefully that helps someone out today. It's pretty simple, but, we've got 7 minutes. We could go ahead and like put a style on these things based on light level, and we could show an if statement in here. What do you think?
Okay, I like that.
All right.
So the theory is if you're above a 1060, you'll be green.
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna say? Okay.
Yeah. And then if you're not, you'll be red, and then it won't look good on this. But like,
that doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Yeah. So let me think about what we got to do here. I do know that these are in so I could put a span tag around these things to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Span. And this is when JavaScript can kind of get ugly. And I'm doing this totally off the fly here. All right. And what I can do is I'm going to put a class on here. And I'm going to set this equal to a variable 2. And I'm just going to call it class name.
Ooh. Okay.
So now
this allows us to target this element on the page.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're missing an S from there. You go.
So I'm going to write an if statement. So I meant to get the if statements anyway. So like this is good. So if statements allows us to like investigate, look at values, and do something on it. All right. Now I could we'll just do what I was going to do. So if, and then I'm going to take the light. So I'm going to say team dot I dot light less than 1,000. Okay. Boom.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say class name, and I need to declare this variable here. Okay. Class name equals red color. All right. So I'm just going to call it that. And then what I can do is here, I can put a else condition. And so any other value that's greater than 1,000.
Yep.
So we do need to do this less than or equal to 1,000. So that would leave out 1,000. So I can just say if it's 1,001, I can just say class name equals, and I'm going to say green color. Okay.
You have one typo in here on line 42 that I see. Class name, you don't have the capital N on name.
Oh, yeah.
On line 43 now, sorry.
Worked. All right, so thank you. Man, I just need you to step over my shoulder all the time.
It's easy when somebody else is doing it and you're looking at it. It's very easy.
So what we need to do now is create a style in the style sheet that we can change this to. Okay.
Okay.
So so like you can have a dot, and you look in this, and this is what's kind of cool about VS Code. If you put a dot in front, it shows you that this is a class that we're going to put. If you put hashtag or something else, it could be an ID or it can be based on just the element. So I'm going to call it red color. Is that what we called it? What did I call it?
Something like that.
I have to go check it. So,
Fiona has a question too about the code. When we go back to the code in a second, once you've done this part.
I'm just going to make a simple class here. I'm going to make 2 of them, and it was green color.
Yep.
And all right, so basically, if you don't know this, this is the color of the font. And I put this class inside of on the span tag, so it'll color anything inside that font with these colors. Okay. And that's kind of how it works. So let's go back to our JavaScript here. Let me stop our code from running.
So Fiona has a question about this then too. It says, could you use this .light instead of team I .light? I guess on line 40, what are we on? 41.
I have to check it out, but like,
actually 36.
I don't think you can, because like you want to make sure you're at the right index. So
we will try it afterwards.
I could try it. I've always done it this way. I've never tried it the other way, because this is always explicit. So in general, I don't like those things. But let's just see if it runs, and then we'll go from there. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to add Kevin, and you want to be red or green?
What do you think? I mean,
you can be
red. Okay. I'm a noob. Of course it's red.
Okay. And then let me get this out so we don't get interrupted 1,000 times. Okay. And so it's like, okay, add it up, and I'm going to have Bobby. We go 1080. That seems kind of bad. And I'm going to continue here. I'm going to take this breakpoint off so to run, and get Raf in here, and he's going to be 1080, and we'll add him in there.
Why are you guys both 1080 and I'm 980? That's just not right.
So I'm just going to run this to see if it works, and then we'll step through it.
Okay.
All right. It did not work. So
it did not work.
It didn't work.
Cool. I like it. Let's see why.
I hate it. I just made it up as I went. So like maybe it's span tag.
No, I like it because now we get to step through it. I like to see what happened.
Oh, I named him wrong. I can tell you what I did.
Oh, I wanted it to be more than that.
No. All right. So so let's add him back here. Make sure it works. So Kevin, 980. We're gonna light you up here, Kevin, so everyone gets in here.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna get some practice in.
Yeah. 1080. All right, and then I'm gonna get Raf in here. And he's at 1080 as well. All right, and then we're gonna run the report. I'm gonna take this off for now, and it should work. Yeah.
Hey,
so I just had
that. Cool.
So they're all green and red. Very Christmas feeling.
Okay. Yep.
So
designer's worst nightmare
So, yeah, exactly. So if we step through this now, we can step through this code here and we can watch what goes on. So the first time it's looking at this light value.
Yep.
And it should do it over here, but it's not. And it's definitely 1,000. And so then it takes the class name and makes it red color. And then this span now is inserted right into here. And if you look at the roster right here, you'll see it get written out. And you can see there's a span tag, class equals red color, Kevin. And I could have put this in quotes, but it worked. If I wanted to put that in quotes, I could just do it like this. And that's what the beauty of.
Why would we need to do that? Oh, that's because it's because a class should be in quotes. Okay.
Should be. It did work. But that's the beauty of these backticks. I don't have to like escape that or anything like that. So we'll step over that and save that. And this time it'll go through. And you can see did not save it. I thought it did. Anyway, so that's kind of what it. Let me reset this. Because I changed the code in the middle of the run there. So let me add one. We'll just add two real quick. Make me 980 and make you 1,000. Make you 1080. Kevin is now 1080.
Yeah, I've been grinding on this thing.
Grinding it out, man.
It's been work.
Raiding it out. All right, so and then this, and we'll close with this. So the first time it comes through, it's setting in mine to red, and then you can see now it's got the quotes on it.
Okay. Yep.
And that's more correctly defined. And then the next time it comes through, it'll be green.
I'm guessing if that didn't have quotes on it, would certain browsers have an issue with that maybe or something?
I would have to look that up. It's just good practice to do it It did work.
So even though it rendered correctly for you in Chrome, it might not work on Safari on a iPhone or something silly.
Or it may get confused with if you have like a more complicated HTML or something like that.
Okay.
So, but it works.
Fiona has a question. Why do you use $ class name?
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Good question. So let me expand this. So this is a template literal. And so I am using this to inject the variable class name into here and its current value. So when you're using template literals, when you're concatenating strings or you're injecting values into strings, specifically variables, you want to be able to use the $ sign, and then you can put the class name inside that, which is the variable.
There's a much longer way of doing this, not using template literals, which you've probably seen, where you're using concatenation. So you're using a plus sign, using some text, and then a plus sign, and then and it's just, it looks messy.
So this is called.
This is just another way of doing the same thing.
Literals, and that's the thing you can go read about today. Template literals, and you'll see kind of what we're doing there. So it's gonna be kind of cool.
And I stuck it down there in chat too. I don't know if there's I haven't seen a good article on it, but
there's a ton of them out there. I can find one. I'll put one in the later today. But that's the thing that makes your string concatenation much simpler, easier to read, and what I would call more robust. It doesn't have the pluses and trying to concatenate these strings together. It can get ugly real quick. So pretty easy. All right, final question.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Is this another thing? Isn't this also known as string interpolation?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Is that the same thing? Okay.
Another term when you're like manipulating strings. Which you do quite a bit in programming, believe it or not. Especially in JavaScript front end land. You're trying to like get values and format them into HTML. And that's why Vue and Angular and React exist, is to make part of that simpler with templating on the front end.
That's because you're just trying to push stuff to the screen, right? To show, and how it gets formatted on the screen is a lot of the work.
HTML strings. So
okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
All right.
Asa has a question. New to the channel, thank you for coming by and watching. We appreciate it. You guys discuss DS and algos from time to time. What's DS? Data science?
Yeah, and algos.
Data science and algos from time to time. Not really.
We do coding challenges, and sometimes
we do coding challenges. Yeah,
come from Leak Code and places like that where you talk about algorithms. But in general, I think the focus of our channel is the things that you need to know to get a job. And so, like we're talking about like software development, how do you find a job, and we really centric on web programming because we think that's the best place to break in right now. Yeah. But data science, there's other channels out there that do data science type things. So that's not our kind of wheelhouse right now. Maybe one day I may be on a machine learning project, and then I'll come in here and start showing it. So, yeah. But for now, I just want to teach things that you can use to break into. So
definitely.
That helps.
Well, I like this because I've learned stuff over these last few days, so I'm good.
Yeah. So an if statement, a for loop, arrays, objects, functions. That's kind of it, man. In JavaScript land, there's a lot more, but like that's kind of what you need to know.
That's your core things.
That's your core kind of stuff, you know. Obviously, there's more things like equals and less than, in, than, else, all the operators, things like that. There's switches. There's other kinds of mechanisms. Once you understand, like I need to loop over these items, you can pick the type of looping syntax you want to use, whether it's while or for. You know, and if you have if then else, you can also use switch if you have a really long decision tree that you want to push out. That has its limitations, unlike C# has a better switch. It's more robust on the switch side. But that's it, man. That's all I got today. Hopefully this helps somebody.
Awesome. I like it. Adam, our awesome moderator, put a link down there. So that's cool in chat. For the
MDN has great documentation, but sometimes you need someone's Medium article that tells you like how it really works.
Yeah, you need the user friendly version.
Yeah, but that's showing you the template letter I did today is kind of easy. That kind of shows you what you're doing most of the time.
Yep.
So, all right, cool.
Yeah, cool. Let's see. What does JC say? Microsoft official document is excellent, though. Yeah, it is. They've done a good job, and they've revamped a lot of their documentation too recently. When we were speaking to Scott, he said they worked hard on that stuff. Yeah,
and then the MDN, what they're showing is Mozilla, so that's the JavaScript documentation. They've done a good job too.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're over time here. It's lunchtime, Kevin. We filled up another hour.
We are. Oh man, it's way over. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was too busy learning stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully, hope this helped. I'm gonna go eat some food. So,
and we'll be back tomorrow for something interesting.
Tomorrow. All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Good luck and keep coding.